Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jenn Trepeck, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. This week, we're talking about Khloud protein popcorn. That's Khloud with a Khloud. So this is Khloé Kardashian's popcorn brand. And I will admit, I do watch their show. I am very entertained by the family dynamics, all the things. And I also am normally not wowed or wooed by celebrity food brands or celebrity brands in general. So I didn't buy this. I knew about it, but thought nothing of it. Then I was at a friend's party and they had it, tried it. It was so good. Actually, so a few of you guys, Stephanie, my friend Stephanie, who has joined me on a few episodes, we were both at this party. And I was like, oh, I'm getting hungry. And she was like, did you try the popcorn? It's Khloé Kardashian's protein popcorn and it's really good. And I was like, seriously? Okay. So I tried it. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I did not ask the host for the bag to look at the label. I didn't want to be that person at the party, right? Everybody knows what I do for a living, but So I figured we'll do that together looking at this label. And essentially, from what I knew of it before, it was, it's popcorn that they sprinkled protein powder on. And so I was sort of like, okay, I could do that myself, right? But then I tasted it and I'm like, nope, this is actually legit. It tasted good. So I feel like I need to say too, if you're shocked that I ate popcorn and didn't read the label first, I'm going to say welcome to real life, right? A couple handfuls of whatever I was having weren't going to make or break my health because of everything else that I do, right? I enjoyed it. You're allowed to enjoy something and onward, right? But of course, we're going to look at it together. So I gave you the rundown of what I knew of it, what I had heard, that it was like this popcorn with some protein powder on it. When I go to their website to get the info, they have a banner that says 7 grams of protein per serving, whole grains, non-GMO, gluten-free, real ingredients, no seed oils. I'm like, okay, cool. Generally, we like all of these things, right? Quick note, remember 7 grams of protein is like 1 ounce of a cooked meat. So to be clear, this is not a full snack. This is not a meal of protein. This is potentially a healthier version of something that you might otherwise desire. So we do have a nutrition nugget just on popcorn that you can go back to for more on the corn that's used in popcorn and all of that stuff. For today, I want to pop over to their nutrition facts and look at what they actually have in here. So they have 3 flavors. There's olive oil and sea salt, sweet and salty kettle corn, and white cheddar. So the one that we had at the party was the sweet and salty kettle corn. So I'm going to start there on the nutrition facts. Okay, here we go. Serving size is 1 cup. There are 5 servings in the container. That's also, I just want to point out, 1 cup popped is not a huge serving.
Typically, popcorn's 3 to 5 cups when you're looking at servings.
Yeah, probably. I think it's 3 cups popped versus 1 cup, right? So just a note, you're probably not only eating 1 serving here. Okay, but here we go. Okay, 1 cup, 150 calories, 9 grams of fat, of which there's 4 grams of saturated fat, 12 grams of carbs with 1 gram of fiber, 5 grams of sugar, all of which are added sugar, and 7 grams of protein. And the micronutrients, it's basically nothing. They mention a little bit of iron and potassium, but really not that much. Now, before we get into the ingredients, the fat is more than we would typically want from a single packaged food. The fiber is less than what we want from a single packaged food. The protein's okay, right? Remember, 1 ounce. So all in, if you had 1 cup of this, if you needed it as a snack and you were hungry, this 1 cup would maybe last an hour, maybe an hour and a half, tops. And then you'd be looking for food again. I also think, as we said, this is really easy to eat more than 1 cup. And as with anything, this is where food and packaged foods get really wonky because in food labels, 1 + 1 can equal 3. because they're allowed to round in really weird ways. And so, long story short, just take it into consideration. Okay, so then the ingredients. It says popcorn, milk protein isolate, cane sugar, olive oil, coconut oil, mineral salt from Himalayan salt and potassium salt. So where does this leave us? Okay, I like that we can pronounce all the things, right? There is nothing in here that has sent us researching new ingredients. So I like that. If you have a challenge with whey, you'll probably, or lactose, I should say, you'll probably be fine with this because it's protein isolate. In their about or our story section of the website, they call it Khloud dust. Their, little milk protein isolate. I wish it didn't have the cane sugar or had it lower on the list, but also I don't hate it as long as it's not our everyday, all day nutrition. And especially even too, everybody gets to decide for themselves. But compared to some of the other sweeteners and chemical sweeteners and things that are put in these, I'm not mad at cane sugar. Really, everybody gets to decide on all of that. But I will say the cane sugar thing made me especially curious if this is just because it's the kettle corn flavor or if they have this sugar in all of the flavors. So I took a quick look. The olive oil and sea salt flavor. So the olive oil and sea salt flavor has a little bit less total fat, less saturated fat because it doesn't have the coconut oil. It also doesn't have the sugar. It actually has 3 grams of fiber instead of 1. And 13 grams of total carbs, so a touch more there. The cheddar cheese flavor, no sugar or added sweeteners. It does have more ingredients because of what's in that cheese powder. So interesting, it's the white cheddar flavor with the lowest net carbs though. So that one has 9 grams of net carbs. So just making it into, our typical guideline of single digit net carbs for a single packaged food. So I appreciate in general that the 3 flavors have different nutrition facts because I think so often companies have these different flavors and they look virtually the same and you're like, how is that possible? So I think if you're looking for popcorn and want something with a bit of flavor and a bit of protein to help balance those carbs, I'm a fan. I say go for it.
I would say too. However, I would actively measure out what 1 cup looks like.
Yes.
That's usually what I tell my clients is do it once so you get a good visual. Because especially the sweeter one that was probably be my go-to. I don't know if I could stop at 1 cup if it's so good.
I know. So when I tried it, we were using actual drinking cups and putting a little bit in the cup and then kind of eating it out of the cup. So I maybe had 2 of those. And then I was sort of okay, I don't want any more of this.
Okay.
But I was I actually want dinner. It was time to go eat something legit, right? So I guess it also becomes a function of is this a staple of your everyday? I'm also a firm believer that not everything has to have protein powder in it. It's fine. Enjoy popcorn as popcorn, but if you enjoy it and it gives you a different flavor of popcorn, especially for the kettle corn compared to other kettle corns out there, I would think I would choose this one. But again, it's sort of what role is it playing in the scheme of all of the food choices you're making?
I love that take because protein is having a moment because I feel carbs having a moment of don't eat the naked carbs. So everyone's let's just add protein to everything. Again, if you're thinking I'm going to have popcorn for dinner, that's...
Let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not. But that's the scoop on Khloud protein popcorn from Khloé Kardashian. All in. I would eat it again. Awesome. Well, as always, everybody, I'm your host, Jenn Trepeck. Connect with me on Instagram or all social media. I am at Jenn Trepeck, JENNTREPECK. Website is asaladwithasideofries.com. Pick your platform, send a message. I truly love hearing from you. And Kelly Carter, thank you again for being here and hanging out for our episode and our nutrition nugget.
No problem. That was fun. Oh my goodness.
Awesome. All right, friends, if you're not already, become a member. Join us in the Happy Healthy Hub. You'll go to asaladwithasideofries.com/membership. This shows your support for this podcast, this community, but above all, it supports your health. On top of this week's episode in full video with the behind the scenes pieces and your 24/7 access to Ask Me Anything, you'll get this week's recipe for the wholesome no-bake carrot cake bites. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.